What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing a Witchcrafter deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely consistent deck that's super fun to play with, and I have all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name in description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing a single copy of Witchcrafter, Madame Veer. This is our main boss monster that we're trying to put on our side of the field besides our copy of Vice Madam. But this card is absolutely crazy when it gets on your side of the field. It has the ability to, during the damage calculation, if your spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can reveal any number of spell cards with different names in your hand, and if you do, your battling monster gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card revealed until the end of the turn, which is an extremely powerful effect to make your spellcaster monsters absolutely massive. It also has the ability that can basically cold wave the field, because quick effect, you can discard a spell card to be able to negate the effects of all face-up monsters that your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, which is a crazy powerful effect. We then play a single copy of Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. This is another really cool boss monster for the deck that does help you with a little bit of protection, because when your opponent's monster when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster that you control or targets it for an attack, quick effect, you can target one card that your opponent controls or a Witchcrafter spell in the graveyard, special on this card in your hand, and if you do, return the targeted card back to the hand. And you can only effect this card once per turn, and then once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, return this card back to the hand so you can use its effect all over again, which is super cool. We then play a single copy of Witchcrafter Hain. Witchcrafter Hain is a good one-of in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of Hain, and she's a great one-of in the deck that can basically pop a card on the field by discarding a spell card, which is just a great effect. We then play just a single copy of Edel. I have been testing out a single copy of Edel because it works really well with one of the other engines that I'm playing in this deck. So I really like this card as a one-of in the build because she has the ability to quick effect, discard a spell card to be able to special summon a Witchcrafter monster from your hand, except another copy of herself, which is great if you get your copy of your Madame Veer or Hain in your hand to be able to then instantly special summon them out to your side of the field with Edel. She also has the ability to contribute this card and then target a spellcaster monster in your graveyard, except another copy of this card, and special summon it, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 3 copies of the Witchcrafter Blacksmith, which in my opinion is the best normal summon in the entire deck. This card is absolutely insane for the deck, and she has the ability, just like all of your other low-level Witchcrafter monsters, that during the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card, discard a spell card to be able to special summon any Witchcrafter monster that you want from your deck, except another copy of the card you tributed, which is a great effect to just instantly get them out on your side of the field. And this card's unique effect is that you can banish this card from your graveyard to send any Witchcrafter card you want from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card, which is a great effect to get the exact Witchcrafter card you need in the graveyard when you need it. We then play a single copy of Witchcrafter Patori. Patori is just a good one-of in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of her. Her unique effect is that basically you can banish this card from your graveyard and then draw a card and then send a Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, or if you have none, then you banish your entire hand, which is a big downside, but you're only going to ever activate that effect when you have a Witchcrafter card in your hand. We then play 3 copies of Witchcrafter Ginny. Ginny is a definite 3-of in the deck, and is just a fantastic card that she can basically copy the effect of one of your Witchcrafter spells that's in the graveyard, because you can banish this card and one Witchcrafter spell from your graveyard, and this effect becomes the spell's effect when that card would be activated, which is a great effect. We then play 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz just works extremely well in this deck to be able to go in for your branded fusion plays, and also it's a walking super polymerization. We play a very small branded package in the deck with just the 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz and 3 branded fusion, which makes it super easy to go into a copy of Witchcrafter Vice Madam, which is really nice. We then play 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma. Psyframe Gear Gamma just works extremely well in the deck with our one-of copy of Driver, just to protect your plays while you're going in for all of your really powerful plays. Especially since your Witchcrafters resolve off the field because they tribute themselves for cost, it makes it super easy to protect them and make sure that they're going to go through while also putting you a monster on board. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just really good in the deck, just like your copies of Gamma, to make sure that you're not going to get hand trapped or you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Magicalized Fusion. Magicalized Fusion is a definite one-of in the deck to be able to help you go in for your copy of Witchcrafter Vice Madam extremely easily by just banishing the fusion materials from the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Witchcrafter By Street. Witchcrafter By Street is a really good one-of in the deck, and it's just a really good card because it has some really cool effects that the first time each Witchcrafter monster you control would be destroyed each turn by battle or by card effect, it is not destroyed. And then it has two really powerful effects that if a Witchcrafter monster you control would discard to activate its effect, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard instead, and then during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card's in the graveyard, you can place this card face up in your spell and trap card zone, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Witchcrafter Unveiling. Witchcrafter Unveiling is a definite one-of in the deck, and a really good one-of in this particular build because it lets you special summon a Witchcrafter monster from your hand, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your spellcaster's effects for the rest of this turn. And all of your other Witchcrafter spells share a common effect that during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card's in the graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn. So for example, if you activate this card during your turn, then you can't add it back during the end phase. You have to not activate it to be able to add it back, which is really cool. We then play two copies of Witchcrafter Confusion Confession. This card is essentially the fusion spell for the deck to help you summon out your copy of Vice Madam, and is a definite 2-of in the deck. I have bumped this card down from 3 to 2, and I feel like 2 is totally fine, especially with the branded fusion package we're playing in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Witchcrafter Creation. This card is essentially the Rhoda of the deck and a definite 3-of, but this card is definitely a 3-of in the deck that you're gonna want to see all the time. We then play 3 copies of Witchcrafter Holiday. Witchcrafter Holiday is a really cool 3-of in the deck that's basically the monster reborn for your Witchcrafters, and this card is just fantastic as a 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good to help you dig into the deck to get the exact card that you need when you need it. We then play 3 copies of Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is super helpful in this particular deck to make sure that you're going to go in for an extremely powerful play, like going in for your copy of Vice Madam after summoning out Lubellion or your copy of your Albion, which is really good, but you can also summon out cards like Mirror Jade, which is just really nice. This card is a 1-card power play and really good in basically any deck that Fusion summons. We then play a single copy of Magician's Right Hand and a single copy of Magician's Left Hand. These come in extremely handy to either negate the first spell your opponent activates or the first trap that your opponent activates while you control a spellcaster monster, which is really good. We then also play 3 copies of Magician's Restage. Magician's Restage is a definite 1 or 3-of in this particular deck because it has a really good effect that lets you target a level 3 or lower spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and this effect can only be used once while this card is faced on the field, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Magician Continuous spell from your deck to your hand, which is your Magician's Left and Right Hand, which is super cool about this deck to instantly get those cards from your hand, especially with how well Restage works with all of your Witchcrafter monsters. So that's it for the spells, guys, and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Witchcrafter Vice Madam. This card is super easy to summon to your side of the field, and one of our main boss monsters. She has some absolutely insane effects that when a spell or effect or a non-fusion spellcaster monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can activate one of these 3 effects, and you can only use each of these effects once per turn, but you can activate all 3 of them in the same turn, which is super cool. She has the ability to destroy 1 card on the field, special summon a level 6 or lower Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck, or add a Witchcrafter spell or trap from your graveyard back to your hand, which is a really good effect to be able to use. We then play 2 copies of Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is just a really good boss monster to be able to put on your side of the field, to be able to just deal with your opponent's cards, and it's just super powerful to play in this deck. We then play a single copy of Lubellion. Lubellion is really good to be able to summon out your copy of Mirror Jade or Vice Madam, which is just really cool because it's just a really easy card to summon to your side of the field by sending a dark monster and Fall of All Bad Baz from your deck to the graveyard with Brand Infusion. We then play 2 copies of Albion. Albion's actually super easy to put on the field with this deck because you basically just use a copy of Fallen Albaz plus Edel, which is why I've started playing the copy of Adele in this particular deck, to be able to just instantly summon this card to my side of the field, which is just really nice because you have a light and your copy of Fallen Albaz. We then play a single copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. We do play the copies of Gamma in this particular deck, so it's really easy to put Omega on our side of the field and get a card out of the opponent's hand. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is just really good in this particular deck to be able to pop multiple cards on the field, and it's just a fantastic card overall. Play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff. Unicorn's just really good overall. 1 copy of Selene. Selene's really good because we are playing a Spellcaster deck. Phoenix pops spells and traps, so it's really good as a 1-up, plus it's a different attribute to use with Access Code. 1 copy of IP Masquerena. IP just really helps out to be able to go into Unicorn during the opponent's turn. And finally, a single copy of Artemis. Artemis is really good as a 1-up in this particular deck because you can basically link any of your level 4 lower Spellcaster monsters into this card, making it super easy to work with your copy of Ginny, while also giving you a light attribute to work with your copy of Access Code. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Witchcrafter before, I highly recommend it, especially with the support we got out of Magnificent Mavens, like the copies of Vice Madam, which is just really cool. And if you guys haven't tried Brand Infusion in the deck, I highly recommend it because it's super fun to be able to just activate that card and really easily go into some boss monsters. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.